Hello, beautiful soul being. Welcome to the Connecting Soul Beings podcast, offering you, the animal lover, information, tips, and learning on soul-to-soul connection, animal communication, self-leadership, and all things spiritual. We will help you tune into the language of animals and the soul, inspiring you to gain a deep, intuitive understanding of yourself and the animals. You become more connected, feelings of love and empowerment so that you experience harmony and joy. True soul-to-soul connection. Well, hello and welcome to the very first episode of Connecting Soul Beings. I am super excited to be here with you today. Yes, it is the 1st of April 2019, and no, this is not April's Fool's Day. We are definitely having our very first episode here. Now, today I wanted to use this as a bit of an introduction so that you have an idea of what to expect during the Connecting Soul Beings podcast. And I wanted to firstly share a little bit more about me if you haven't met me before. Why did I start this podcast? And explain a little bit more about Connecting Soul Beings. I think that's a really nice introduction to Connecting Soul Beings podcast. So I am originally from the Netherlands. I have moved to Sydney, Australia, from where this podcast is broadcasting. And I moved here about 23 years ago. I always felt that my bed was in the wrong country. Yes, I did have absolutely the right family and the right friends in the Netherlands, but I've always felt a little bit unsettled there and never really at home. Hence, I moved to Australia, where I did find my home. And so it's been a really great journey so far. Now, I have a 20-odd year experience and history in the corporate industry. And so Connecting Soul Beings is something that fell into my lap. And over the last probably 13 years, I have been really focused on expanding my horizon in spiritual abilities, expanding my knowledge on metaphysics, and connecting to our soul, connecting to ourselves, and also connecting to the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and everything that is. So it's been a really wonderful experience so far, and I'm still learning every single day. And it's just amazing to be able to connect at such a different level and to also leave the corporate world behind a little bit. It was absolutely a very wonderful career. I've learned a lot, I've met many wonderful people, and throughout my corporate career, I started to work more as a coach, a mentor, and also a vocational trainer. So, and through that, I learned how do I actually teach other people. And a lot of the things that I have been teaching is in the workplace, but mostly everything came down to leadership. And most of the time it was around self-leadership. And I think that we all know self-leadership is really important, because if we don't have an element of self-leadership, then there is no way that we can actually live a life that we truly desire. Because self-leadership is all about how do you move forward? How do you expand your knowledge, your experience, and have a wonderful life in this lifetime on earth? So, and through my life, it's been really wonderful to then also learn that there is a lot more to it than just the practical side of things. There is a lot more to us than what we see when we look at each other. There is a lot more to us than what we see when we look in the mirror. Yes, we have absolutely a beautiful human body, but there is so much more to us. There is a spiritual body as well. There is an energetic body, and we are more connected than what we actually realize. And so Connecting Soul Beings aims to help you to understand better how can we be fully engaged, how can we truly tap into what is underneath all the layers that we can physically see, feel, and even hear. what more is there that we can connect to so that we can show up in a much better way, so that we can show up to experience a lot more joy in our life, to actually experience what it feels like to love ourselves and then to be able to love other people. And not just people, it doesn't stop there. It's definitely also the love for all the animals, for Earth, and for all that is. And in my mind, that is just a beautiful way to really show up every single day. Now, for me personally, my journey started quite a few years ago when I experienced that I could actually heal people and provide energy healing through my hands to help people feel more relaxed, to perhaps assist in reducing any aches, pains, and niggles that we have in our physical body. And then I learned that I could do that for animals as well. So that was the start for me in really exploring what it's like to have all these different abilities. And with that came other abilities as well. And this may sound a little bit strange for some of us, but I really want to go there too. So through this podcast, I aim to also teach people and make people aware that there is other skill sets out there that we can really tap into. So all through my life, I knew there was a lot more to me than what I could physically see and what I was experiencing in this human body. And I knew that that was always there, but never really consciously tapped into that until I learned the Reiki healing skills that I have. And so then I realized, wow, I can actually hear things as well, and I can hear others. I can see others by utilizing my hands, and others, I mean different energies and different energy fields. And therefore there was more of, other beings that I could sense. And that was really amazing to work with, but also a little bit challenging and a little bit scary at times, I have to admit. So by finding the right people to actually talk to and learn from, be inspired, and having the internet to our disposal to also look up other people that may experience the same things, and by aligning myself through social media with other people and learning from them, reading the books on it as well, it really helped me to realize that it isn't all scary. It can actually be a really beautiful process and a beautiful way to connect to other beings. And that's how I learned to fully understand what those sort of skill sets are and how I can use them in everyday life. I've spoken to so many people over the years that have gone through a similar journey. And I really would love to help others that go through that as well, to make them realize it's not all scary. And we can certainly learn how we can utilize it every single day. And not just for ourselves, but for other people and for the animals as well. Now, then later on in my life came the animal communication as part of that as well. And that was a really amazing experience one day that I was approached by a snake in the wild who told me in no uncertain terms that I had to go out there and do my job and connect animals with people. And so that was a realization that actually blew me away. I was at the latter end of my corporate career, and having that experience to actually realize that I was talking to an animal, and during that same day I connected with other animals. And when I came home that afternoon, at that time my two dogs, Rosie and Toby, realized that I had that realization myself and that experience. They absolutely couldn't contain themselves in being so excited that I could finally hear them, and I could hear their voices and I could feel what they felt. And I just had a real great source of information from them. So I started practicing with them and found other teachers that do the same work. And that's how my journey started in animal communication as well. And for me, that was another beautiful skill set to add to the skill sets that I already had. And so now I have a really great toolbox of all these wonderful skills that help me to help you. Help me to help the animals. Be a voice for animals. Be a voice for the human souls. Be a voice for the animal souls, whether they are here in this lifetime or whether they may have crossed over. And so for me, it doesn't stop there. It's not the one-on-one work that, it's not only the one-on-one work that really makes my heart sing. It's not only the one-on-one work that really allows me to work on my purpose and my mission and my vision. You know, it's the one-on-many as well. And working with others really helps me to work on my own vision and work on my mission. And that is also one of the reasons I started this particular podcast, which really grew out of having an online summit that I did last year. And through that summit, I met so many amazing other people who do a similar work, but with different modalities, who also work with other people to help them grow and move forward and wake up. People that also work with the animal kingdom as well. And so I thought, wow, how wonderful would it be if we can actually collaborate and bring our messages out into the world together rather than on our own. And so from the summit, which is a fantastic experience where I've had 28 speakers that I've interviewed and learned so much from, grew this particular podcast as well. So the podcast actually grew from an online summit that I ran last year, in which I interviewed 28 beautiful speakers from all over the world. And that is when I realized that collaboration, working with other people, can help us together reach a very similar vision and mission on this earth. Everybody that I've interviewed at that podcast and everybody else that I've met over the years, whether I'm following them, being inspired by them, worked with them, I feel that when we work together, it is so much easier to help each other and to help so many more people around the globe, including you and including our animals. So my vision personally is to inspire you, helping you to create love, harmony, and joy, and spread that out all over the world so that we humans can actually live side by side with the animals, and we can all experience this beautiful love together. Now my mission is quite big actually, and I've only just discovered that I'm really focused on teaching and inspiring 5 million people around the globe to help 1 million animals have a voice, so that so many animals can let us know how they feel, what they experience, and how we can help them even further. And by teaching all these people together, I inspire them. I inspire them to look deeper than what they see when they look in the mirror. I inspire them to really learn soul-to-soul connection. Connecting soul beings is exactly that. Reconnecting to ourselves, reconnecting at a soul level, heart to heart, so that we are connected. We experience each other, whether we are in the same room together or we are even on the other side of the globe. It is a soul-to-soul connection. And that is why this podcast is so important to me, because through this podcast, not only me, but my guests will absolutely help you to reconnect with your core self, with your inner being, so that you can learn how to be more loved by yourself. How can you experience a lot more joy, laugh, love, and experience a true, beautiful journey. And I know this is a bit of a corny word, but journey, absolutely, on the earth plane. By working together with your soul, with your core self, you will have a much more pure, connected, and loved experience here on earth. It is literally remembering how to connect again. And we have lost that. And through this podcast, I inspire you to get that connection back, to really get back to yourself and and my guests are more than happy to help you with that. And I know the people that I've already got interviews and that are already scheduled to be on this podcast, you are going to love them. You are going to feel inspired. You are going to start a conversation. And I want you to start a conversation. I invite you to share what you've experienced when you listen to the podcast and what you experience by implementing some of the things that we may suggest to you to see how much different you can have an experience on this earth plane. And some of these things that I mentioned to you right now in terms of soul connection, earth plane, beings, it'll all become a lot more clear the more you listen to the podcast. But for now, Connecting Soul Beings is going to be your go-to channel to learn, be inspired, reconnect with yourself so that you can have an experience that you truly desire by connecting back to your heart. Feel empowered, feel loved, be connected, and truly experience love, harmony, and joy. So this is the introduction to the podcast, and very, very soon I will post another episode and there will be many guests. If you feel that you want to contribute to this podcast, if you have an experience that you believe other people are inspired by, please, I would love to hear from you. I would really love to have a conversation with you on air so that we can reach so many more people and help raise the energy, raise the vibration on this planet. Until we speak again, stay connected with love and grace. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to yet another inspiring high vibration episode of Connecting Soul Beings podcast. I truly love receiving your comments, stories, and feedback. Keep connecting as they are truly inspiring. The easiest way to connect with me is via my website www.biancadereus.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Bianca de Reus. If you love our community and this podcast, you can help us by sharing and liking the show via Pippa, YouTube, iTunes, and the website. And if you feel that Connecting Soul Beings and myself can help you connect to yourself and the animals, then hop on over to www.biancadereus.com and find out how we can truly connect and help you along. Thank you again so much. Stay connected with love and grace.